healthcare interventions. Through GIFA medical outreach, rural women, men and children have received treatments for free. For your great support and help for the people of Akwa Ibom State, we say may the good Lord bless and grant your heart desires in Jesus' name. God bless GIFA. Thank you.
Oh yes, thousands of our senior citizens have been given food, medical care attention, and other welfare packages through the GIFA support program. With this, our hearts are all filled with gratitude to thank our dear mothers and other supportive members for all your good works you all have done in our community, society, and town. We say, may the good Lord bless you.
In the area of water and environmental health, GIFA has made available the Water of Life borehole project across Uyo and other local government areas. And this has helped to reduce the high rates of diarrhea and cholera, and it has also reduced death rates. For all this, we pray may God reward you in 100-folds. Amen.
When we see challenges, our Excellency sees potential. When we speak of vision, when we speak of a mother's heart, we look to our Excellency, Mrs. Helen Enobaraki. You know, through GIFA, Her Excellency has really empowered a lot of people, like young men and women who have not learned, or who have not been taught. She has empowered them with necessary literacy and vocational skills such as sewing, such as painting, and many much more. Also, over 15,000 pupils have been equipped with necessary school supplies like textbooks, exercise books, and many other things too. Her Excellency has really done a lot for us. To our visionary First Lady designate, we say, Yagabasio Jongfi, your legacy remains in our hearts. And so, may your works continue to be fruitful, and may God bless Akwa Ibom State. Thank you.
We say welcome, you are highly welcome. May God reward you for the GIFA project. We say welcome, you are highly welcome.
May God reward you for the GIFA project.
Ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate them with an applause as they return to their seats. Wonderful welcome song by the students of Uyo local government area. I believe you can give them a better applause. We can clap till they totally get down from the stage. Thank you so much. Just some few acknowledgements, and then we have the welcome address. We'd like to welcome a great lady who just joined us while the children were singing, Senior Special Assistant to His Excellency the Governor on HSE. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Edidiong Jen. Mrs. Jane Edidiong Fort, thank you so much. We welcome you. We'd like to inform Her Excellency that the Deputy Chief of Party of EQs is here, Dr. Otoyo. Please let's welcome him with an applause. I'm told he's representing Dr. Andy Ayo. Thank you so much for the good work that you all do. Please, we would like to invite now the Walgon President for some welcome remarks. After her welcome remarks, we'll be having some presentations just to put on cue that we'll be having cultural performance by students of Nsretai local government area, spoken words by Ms. Zo Eyenubong from Ibesikwa Sultan. And then there shall be a presentation on the screen on plastic recycling. Of course, all of these would come. But now let's have the welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. With due respect to the mommy of GIFA in Akwa Ibom State, our dear noble lady, Mrs. Helen Enobaraki, I recognize all the senior stakeholders in Akwa Ibom State that are here with us this morning, ladies and gentlemen. The welcome song has already said it all, so I just want to lend my voice with the children to say that you're all welcome to this great event that is happening in Akwa Ibom State today. It's only in Akwa Ibom State that this kind of thing can happen. And we say a very big thank you to our noble lady, Helen Obaroke, for this initiative. Climate change mitigation in Akwa Ibom State. I've seen that a lot of people will be given palm fruit seedlings today. This goes around to change our environment in terms of beautification, in terms of economic improvement, and indeed, our environment will be sustained when we have healthy plants around us. And I learned we are going to have a lot of lectures today that will show us, that will teach us how to improve our environment. She has done so much already when it comes to all the thematic areas in Akwa Ibom State. Specifically, like in Uyo, I have witnessed the Water of Life project, which was given to a community that did not even have water for years. In terms of the healthcare, she has touched a lot of maternal and children in schools. So a lot of things have been done in GIFA. And we said thank you to our noble lady. And I know that as you're coming today in our Uyo local government area, it's not just Uyo, all the people in Uyo Federal Constituency, we are telling you welcome, because I know that you continue to impact more. Thank you for always starting things like this in Uyo. That's to show that you are our own. Thank you so much, Ma. Please feel at home and enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you to the well-gone president. We thank you, of course, the coordinator of the office of the First Lady and chairman of the BOT of GIFA, for the good work that you're doing. We'd like to proceed now as we invite the GIFA team lead, Pastor Ann, for the tone setting. While she's coming, we'd like to put Ms. Zoe Eyerubong on standby for spoken words, please. Pastor Ann.
Your Excellency, my mother, the Chairman, Board of Trustee, Golden Initiative for All, GIFA. The woman that sees from afar, the woman that believes in everyone in Akwa Ibom State. Sorry. Our very own First Lady designate, Lady Helen Obaroke. You're welcome, Ma. You're welcome, Mommy. Thank you for sitting on the affairs of GIFA. I'm asked to do a tone setting, but before you came in, Ma, the entire house have been singing the 8 thematic areas of Golden Initiative for All. Yes, true or false? So we cited it and we sing like a song. And so I'm not here to take time again, because I believe that the 8th thematic area of GIFA has been around the room before you walked in. But I want to say, for today's event, which is one of our thematic area, improving environmental health, we are here to tell you how to make your environment beautiful, so that you can live healthier, so that you can enjoy the fruit of everything that God and His Excellency has given to you. So as you're here, you know we have a lot of items for you, for the students, for the market women, and for the farmers. Ma, you asked us to do a selection. This event is actually for Uyo Federal Constituency that consists of the 4 local governments, Uyo local government, Uran, Ibisikbo, and Seretai. They are all seated in the hall. You specifically asked us to select the core farmers because you have a beautiful seedlings you want to give to them. And we want to say thank you for your initiative. Thank you for also believing that GIFA will always live. And GIFA has come to stay. I won't forget to thank His Excellency, our pillar, the man who gave us his shoulder to lean on, and also our partners and all the stakeholders that has been and always been supporting the things that you've been doing. Thank you very much. Before you walked in, we had a dance competition, and your stakeholders gave the students award, gave them prizes, and gave them gifts. So we want to say thank you, Ma, for all the things you've been doing. And for you that you're here, we have a lot that we are going to teach you. Be attentive, take them home. And I want to say thank you to the committee in charge of the seedlings. Thank you, Commissioner for Agri. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Professor Nsa, thank you very much for your team. Thank you for supporting the things that we're doing. And to all the people that are here, the panelists, thank you. We want to say God bless you. Sit down and enjoy yourself.
Thank you to Pastor Ann. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take the first presentation of this occasion as we invite Zoe Mpoto for a 4-minute spoken word performance. We'd like to respectfully put Professor Konansa on cue. After Zoe, we'll be inviting Prof for some presentation on the tree crop initiative of His Excellency the Governor.
Good day, everyone. I stand before you today, not just as a voice, but as an echo of rivers that no longer sing, of forests that have forgotten their own names, of skies that are growing heavier with every breath we take. Tell me, when did we become so busy that we stopped hearing the earth cry? Because she is crying. In the crack of dry soil beneath the farmer's feet, in the flood waters that swallow homes overnight, in the heat that burns hotter than yesterday and promises to be hotter tomorrow. The earth is crying. And somehow we have mistaken her tears for rain. We cut down the trees that once stretched their arms towards heaven, giving us shade, giving us air, giving us life. We poison the waters, then wonder why the fish disappear. We fill the atmosphere with smoke, then ask why the seasons no longer know their place. Winter arrives late, rain comes too hard, the sun stays too long. Nature is speaking. But are we listening? Climate change is not a distant story. It's not a chapter in a science textbook. It is not a problem for another generation. It is here. It is the child walking miles to find clean water. It is the family displaced by floods. It is the farmer staring at the failed harvest, wondering how he will feed his children. It is here. And if we do nothing, it will not ask for permission before it changes everything. But today I refuse to stand here and speak only of disaster. Because every crisis carries a choice. A choice to plant instead of destroy, to conserve instead of to waste, to protect instead of exploit. A choice to remember that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Think about that. Every plastic bottle thrown carelessly away. Every tree cut without replacement. Every act of neglect. We are writing a letter to the future. The question is, what would that letter say? Will it say, sorry, we knew the danger, but chose convenience? Or will it say, we saw the storm coming, and we became the generation that stood in its path? I believe we can be that generation. The generation that chooses responsibility over excuses, action over silence, hope over indifference. Because one tree planting matters. One voice raised matters. One community educated matters. And together, millions of small actions become a movement powerful enough to heal a wound on planet. So today, let us not leave this gathering inspired for a moment and forget tomorrow. Let us leave with a promise. A promise to protect what protects us. A promise to care for the earth because she has cared for us. A promise to act because the future is no longer waiting. And when generations yet unborn ask what we did when the earth was crying, let our answer be, we listened, we stood up, we acted. And because we acted, hope survived. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud Zoe once again. And of course, Zoe, thank you. Come, you can have a handshake, of course, with the noble lady Helen and Obariki. Celebrate Zoe once again. Very cerebral performance there. Thank you for reminding us of the need to care for the environment, as of course the earth has cared for all of us. We'd like to invite Professor Okon Ansa, the chairman of the State Agriculture and Food Security Committee, for just a 2-minute overview. Prof, please, this one will not be detailed. You are an agricultural specialist, so looking at the hall, I know Prof will break it down so that the students can understand in just 2 minutes. Please celebrate Prof with an applause. Thank you. The cultural presentation, please be ready. Students of Sreta, you are coming up next for your cultural performance. Prof.
Good morning, First Lady. My pleasure to get to know you. I haven't met you before. Distinguished, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. When I walked into this hall this morning, all the vibrancy, I looked around, I said, you know, my bishop in the Catholic Church used to say that if they take women away from the church will die. The way I'm seeing it, if they take women away from the state, we're dead. The vibrancy I met this morning was incredible. I'm here to introduce to you the Akwa Ibom State Agriculture and Food Security Committee. Our members are seated there. There's some of them that have traveled. The seedlings you see in front of you have been given by this committee. Mrs. Anne Abraham came to us and warned me that the First Lady said, we must get seedlings. So I said, who am I to refuse to give First Lady seedlings? So we've given 1,500 seedlings. 5 for each participant, because I hear there are 300 participants. Please, if you know you are not going to plant these seedlings, don't take them. Let only those who are ready to plant take them. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. These are elite lines. If you plant them today, by the 3rd year, they'll start yielding. By the 5th year, they will reach peak production. I can assure you that by the 4th year, you'll be making at least ₦1 million from each tree from harvest. So tend your trees. When they give them to you, take that extra money, buy fertilizer, buy manure. Treat plants like babies. I tell people, I handle plants the way I handle babies. Babies and plants are the same. Listen, plants look different from human beings, but they have exactly the same metabolism. They behave the same way. If you take care of them, they take care of you. When they are young, you have to give them food, you have to nurture them, you have to baby them. If you don't baby them, they will die. But they give you a lot of money. The other thing about these trees is, I looked at your theme, climate change. What trees do is mitigate climate change. You see, what we do is we consume food and we put out carbon dioxide. Plants are the only entities living that manufacture their own food. And what do they give to us? Oxygen. The oxygen we breathe is from plants. If all plants were eliminated, we'll all die immediately. I can tell you that. All the oxygen we breathe is from plants. But what do we give back? We give back carbon dioxide. Our machines give back carbon dioxide. All the generators we use, the cars, what do they give out? Carbon dioxide. And what does carbon dioxide do? It creates, it's what we call greenhouse gas. And what it does, it destroys the atmosphere with methane, nitrous oxide, and water vapor. So please, let's tend these plants. Apart from the money they'll give to us, they'll clean up our environment and help us to mitigate climate change. Thank you very much. Please take care. I'm very passionate about plants. Madam, you have to go around. Make sure that all these women take care of these plants. So I'm very passionate about plants. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate Professor Okon Ansah. One, for the good work he and his team is doing, and secondly, this is the simplest presentation I've witnessed Prof make. Please celebrate Prof once again. Thank you. As we now call up the students of Nsaratai local government area for a cultural performance titled Asian Ntugiban. While they are presenting, please, the media should get ready, because immediately after that, we'll be having a presentation on plastic recycling. That, of course, will be displayed on the screen. Asian Ntugiban, please, let's go.
Good morning, Her Able Silinse. Good morning, our able excellencies. Good morning, our dear mothers. Good morning, our fellow students. My name is Promise Emmanuel Godwin. The name of my school is East Tenso Secondary School, Odot Nsotatai. The dance is all about climate change. Where darkness comes, then light overshadows darkness. Sit still and enjoy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud the students of Nsratai local government area. The dance, I am told, is titled as Sian Tugiban. And from their presentation, I could see some agricultural implements there, all themed towards agriculture as a way of mitigating climate change. We proceed now as we have the presentation on plastic recycling. While that is ongoing, we'll be having the setup for the panel discussion, which comes up immediately after this presentation. Please, may we have your attention.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to transform an empty plastic water bottle into a beautiful flower vase. Just take a look at how amazing the final result looks. Let's get started. For this project, you will need an empty plastic water bottle, some soil, gravel or pebbles, water, a ribbon of your choice, and a flower. The first step is to cut the plastic bottle. You can cut it higher or lower depending on how tall or short you want your flower vase to be. This is where I'll be making my cut. As you can see, I've divided the bottle into two parts. I'll use the bottom section as my flower vase, while the top section can be kept and reused as a funnel at home. That's a great way to reduce waste and make the most of the bottle. Next, I'll add some gravel or pebbles to the bottom of the vase. This helps create a stable base and prevent the vase from tipping over easily. After that, I'll add my soil, followed by a little water. I'll allow it to settle for a moment before planting my flower. Now, I'll carefully place the flower in the center of the vase to give it a neat and attractive appearance. If you like, you can add a little extra soil around the edges to secure the flower, although that's completely optional. And there we have it. Our flower vase is ready. But as you can see, the plastic bottle is still visible, and we can make it look even better. This is where the ribbon comes in. I'll wrap the ribbon around the outside of the vase to cover the plastic and give it a more decorative finish. If you're feeling creative, you can even add your own unique design while wrapping. And just like that, look at the transformation. We've turned a simple plastic bottle into a beautiful flower vase. So that's how you can recycle an empty plastic bottle and give it a brand new purpose. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more creative DIY projects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you. The presentation there on plastic recycling. Did the students pay attention? Would you like to watch it once again so you can really know how to do it? Okay, let's have the video once again. It's a very short video. We can take it once again, please. Please pay attention.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be showing you how to transform an empty plastic water bottle into a beautiful flower vase. Just take a look at how amazing the final result looks. Let's get started. For this project, you will need an empty plastic water bottle, some soil, gravel or pebbles, water, a ribbon of your choice, and a flower. The first step is to cut the plastic bottle. You can cut it higher or lower depending on how tall or short you want your flower vase to be. This is where I'll be making my cut. As you can see, I've divided the bottle into two parts. I'll use the bottom section as my flower vase, while the top section can be kept and reused as a funnel at home. That's a great way to reduce waste and make the most of the bottle. Next, I'll add some gravel or pebbles to the bottom of the vase. This helps create a stable base and prevent the vase from tipping over easily. After that, I'll add my soil, followed by a little water. I'll allow it to settle for a moment before planting my flower. Now, I'll carefully place the flower in the center of the vase to give it a neat and attractive appearance. If you like, you can add a little extra soil around the edges to secure the flower, although that's completely optional. And there we have it. our flower vase is ready. But as you can see, the plastic bottle is still visible and we can make it look even better. This is where the ribbon comes in. I'll wrap the ribbon around the outside of the vase to cover the plastic and give it a more decorative finish. If you're feeling creative, you can even add your own unique design while wrapping. And just like that, look at the transformation. We've turned a simple plastic bottle into a beautiful flower vase. So that's how you can recycle an empty plastic bottle and give it a brand new purpose. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more creative DIY projects. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
How many of you will do this when you get home? If you'll do it, let me see your hands up. Turning a plastic bottle into a flower vase. Okay, so try it when you get home. We move now for the panel presentation. For more on this and other items, other topics relevant to climate change mitigation, may I now invite the moderator of the panel session.
So it gives me great joy to be here this morning, and let me really appreciate very specially the great noble lady. Can we give a very, very thunderous round of applause for literally dragging me here? And it gives me a lot of joy to be here. And it's going to be a discussion on climate change mitigation. And I have a very power-packed panel. Very powerful people, very knowledgeable people, very experienced people. So let me first invite a very distinguished professor of crop science, a lady who has done extensive work as far as this field is concerned. She's worked with the European Union, with the World Bank, OCP Africa, and even her inaugural lecture was on waste to wealth that was just presented a few weeks ago at the Akwa Ibom State University, former Dean of Agriculture, and a former this and former that, and current this and current that, Professor Edna Augustine Akpan. Can we please appreciate her as she takes her seat right here? Let me interject with one man. The man I'm going to invite next is an activist, even if he's in government. You know, the spirit of activism cannot depart from you. It is like the good and a bad spirit. It shows up even when you least expect it. Former PRO of NMA, former troublemaker, now a very good man. Honorable Commissioner for Health, Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Ekem Emmanuel John. Please, can we appreciate him? It is so good to see him. Mi bani mara Commissioner for Health. As he makes his way to join us right here on this podium. I have a lot of firebrand people. I don't know how I'm going to control the fire this afternoon. Because the next lady I'm about to call is also fire. She's very passionate about everything she does. And if you give her a seat, she will give you a tree. And so I'm going to welcome Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Health, on Safety, on Environment, the very powerful, the very energetic Mrs. Jane Edidion Fort, as she comes right here. Can we do her a better round of applause? God bless you, man. Thank you very much for joining us. And then from the Excellence Community Education Welfare Scheme, I hope I got the acronym of AQs correct, comes the CEO, Dr. Andy Ayo, but very competently represented today by the Chief of Party. So I bring the party here. Dr. Otoyo Toyo joins us here to complete the members of the panel. And we're going to dissect the subject matter. This is the main point of this event. And everyone here will be talking from not guesswork, from practical experience, from the fact that climate change has come. What is climate change? Climate change, I remember a few months ago, I went for a project, a US-assisted project in one of the southeastern states. So we brought women together for climate change. I didn't understand their vernacular, but I heard the English. One of the women said, "Na climate change we go chop." And she was correct. What is really the correlation between climate change and us? How does it really concern us? It concerns us because it's rainy season, but the weather is still hot. So in the evening, you are confused whether to fully cover up or whether to wear light clothes. The weather is still cold in the early evenings, but your children are having rashes and sometimes scabies and other ailments like that. You are confused. Climate change is that increase in temperature. Climate change is a result of the human activity that we have sent very dangerous gases into the atmosphere, and scientists have agreed that the earth is becoming hotter, and the result of it, the flooding, the ocean erosion, and so many things that we are going to discuss here this afternoon. So I'm going to begin with, Prof, let me come to you first. Because we have farmers that are here. We have market women that are here. Miban yene bonokemi are wondering, why is it that we buy tomato, something that used to last for 5 days, the heat plummets it in less than 2 days, and they suffer wastages. So what can be done? Lay a foundation for us to understand. What changes can we do now that we don't even know when rainy season starts and when rainy season ends? What kind of crops should we plant? How should we even know the calendar again? April. Now, it starts when it wants to start. It can rain on 25th of December. Nobody knows when to plant TM. Nobody knows when to plant maize. So give us a foundation. What can be done in the face of climate change? What can farmers, marketers do with this reality?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Excellency, I'm so privileged to be here today and to meet you in person since you assumed office. Congratulations once again. Anybody there? Whenever we're talking about climate change, you can change it the other way, changes in climatic factors. Membo sitape keriburi dagame. In years past, when we were kids, we used to have two seasons, the rainy season and the dry season. Now we don't know the difference between the rainy season and the dry season again. What we have now is what we call dry spell, maybe for about a month or thereabout. And you have the rains all year round. The only person that can give an answer to this is God. But the factors that contribute to the changes in climate is human beings. Do you understand what I mean? Abasik boromi do iboro yem benjen. Ibagami ki rimbut ayi create kenjinesan. Ikeni do montisan yang boba nang aba ami. A lot of industries have come up and they call it, you know, they're down in those companies. They now emit carbon dioxide into the air. There is what they call ozone layer, the heating of the ozone layer. As at the time it's supposed to release the rains, it will not release the rains. As at the time it's supposed to release the sun, you know, it may not come as at when due because of the changes in season. He had talked about tomato in particular. First and foremost, when we were kids, we used to have very tiny, berry-like tomato. What's about the orange in color? But now we are seeing big, you know, fleshy, pulpy tomato. So there is what we call varietal differences and varietal changes. A lot of people have done a lot of researches in most of these crops that we consume. Because of these changes in weather, it affects the time we plant our crops and the time that we harvest them. And the variety that you plant also matters. Apart from that too, there is what we call NIMET, Nigeria Meteorological Center, that normally gives us information on climate change in Nigeria in particular. Most of us have been watching NTA, AKBC, and so on, but you never care to listen to NIMET report. They will tell you in so a number of days that you will have rains, the locations that you will have rains, the dates that you will have rains, when you are going to have floods. They will give you what we call flood alert. Because in years past, we really had floods. But what is causing this flooding now? In years past, we really had drought. What is causing this drought now? It is because of the changes in weather. It may surprise you to know that in some states in the northern part of Nigeria, up till this moment, we do not have a single rain yet. And yet a lot of us are relying on most of these states for seeds for us to consume. So we have to look inwardly to be able to produce what we consume now by trying as much as we can to mimic the climate of our environment, the South, to be able to plant those things to have them. A lot had been done during the Professor Gloria Ede's era on that. A round of applause for her. And we need to step up the game. In years past, they said we could not produce vegetables like onions, tomato, bell pepper, and so on. But before we had that, the greenhouses along the airport road, we did a preliminary survey of the vegetables in the Akwa Ibom that could survive in Akwa Ibom. And I led that team. We were able to have tomato, bell peppers, eggplant, we had, yes, we had, what do you call it? What did I tell you? Lettuce. We had cabbage produced. And then at Akwa Ibom State University, during the era of His Excellency Udom Emmanuel, and that was the first greenhouse that he came to commission in Akwa Ibom State. Until date, we are still producing pepper and tomato in Akwa Ibom State University. If we can do that, Aviclay is doing it right now, Aviclay Farms, and I believe we can all adopt that. In fact, I engineered on starting the back cultivation of our veggies, the different vegetables. Now, if you go to the market now, you can't even buy what we call dung for 100 naira. Talk less of iko, talk less of otasi, talk less of mfaradosa, pepper leaf. True or false? But when you know that we can plant them at our backyard. What if you have a visitor in the night? Will you rush to the night market to buy vangdong? Will you rush to the market to buy ikohubong? Will you rush to the market to buy pepper? You need to plant them at your backyard. So I am here to assure each and every one of you that climate change is real. It is here. We can as well try as much as we can to mitigate, and we can also mimic our immediate environment to be sure that we have these crops produced at our backyards, at our homes, at our farms, for the usefulness of the family and for sales to the public. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for that very excellent submission. Let me come quickly to our Commissioner for Health. Climate change. Does it affect our health? Does it affect families? Does it affect children? In fact, let me ask you, does it affect couples also? This heat, is there any direct effect on all of this? Answer us.
What I feel you should answer the last question. I'll ask you to share your practical experience. Because I know you are still in that generation that is active. And Your Excellency, thank you for inviting me to be here. Good afternoon to everyone. It's still morning. Good morning. You know, if you did not have breakfast before coming, and you are hopeful that since you missed breakfast, you get lunch, you want to greet good afternoon, so Our Excellency can make that happen. Climate change. It used to be an environmental discussion. It used to look like something abstract, but as we speak, climate change has now become a public health emergency. It's affecting every aspect of public health, and I'm going to try and break it down in its simplest forms. So when we're talking about climate change, what are we talking about? Many people confuse it for the weather. But when you're discussing weather, you're looking at short-term effects. When you're looking at climate, you're looking at long-term weather conditions. Weather is usually unpredictable. Climate used to be predictable. So the conversation now is that the climate, which used to be predictable, is nearly no longer predictable. So that's not, moving from that to the next point, what are we experiencing when we're talking about climate change? Prof has spoken about the changes in weather situations. So you have prolonged rainfalls, you have excessive heat. Like the moderator said, this is rainy season, but everywhere here is hot, right? And so, two things. When we have prolonged rainfalls and excessive heat, what then happens? Let's go to rainfall. You have this prolonged excessive rainfall that leads to flooding. So you now have flooding. What does flooding do and how does it affect our health? When flooding comes, it destroys farms. It contaminates water bodies. Now let's take contamination of water bodies. The biggest outbreak of cholera happened in England. Many people don't know that. And there was so much death. That was when cholera was first isolated, that the entire London and many cities in England was almost wiped out. And what really causes cholera? And I'll come to the next one, which is typhoid. It's contamination of water, contamination of food. So when we have this flood water, it contaminates our water sources and water bodies. And so you have more children admitted in hospitals because of cholera.
But Doc, at the risk of interrupting you, you know, we take mostly this sachet water. Everybody does it. And we feel the water is safe. So is that one also affected? Because once you feel feverish, there are only two sicknesses all of us know: malaria, typhoid.
I'm going to
so is it connected to this climate change matter?
Yeah.
Because it may treat them to do.
Yes, I'll say yes and no. First of all, what makes you feel the sachet water is safe? What even makes you feel that your bottled water is safe? First, there are a lot of fakes and contaminated water products in the market. But that's a different conversation, right? Now, even your sachet water and the bottled water, they come from water sources. You pick some bottled water in supermarkets, they say this is spring water from the rocks of, let me not call anywhere, so they don't sue me for trying to demarcate their state, right? I remember when I was a child, we used to look forward to our dad coming back, and then we'll go to the booth and take swan water. It had a distinct taste. It was very nice, and you could be sure, but not anymore. But come to the other issue. How many persons can afford the sachet water? How much is sachet water now? 50 or 100 naira. I bet you are in that class that has not bought sachet water for a long time. But there are many persons who the only thing they drink, they still drink from stream water. They still drink from tap. And these waters are coming from these contaminated water sources. So you're talking about increased admissions in an era where you do not have doctors, you do not have nurses. You have that. Let's move away from there, because it's a whole lot of conversation around health. You go to the next thing about contamination. What can it cause? Water-related diseases such as cholera. Then you talk of typhoid. You said something rightly that in Nigeria, once anybody is sick, is malaria and typhoid. Let me use this opportunity to educate. It is not every fever that is malaria. When you make that mistake that once you feel them, chemist, mix something for me. When you are mixing, keep money for kidney transplant. Don't begin to call me and say, beg governor to approve money for me, I need transplant. If I tell you the burden on the governor, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'll just say this because I hear some people say, oh, I applied, or God did not. Even the very last thing His Excellency signed before he traveled was medical assistance for people. The very last document before he boarded his flight. So when you're going to chemist, mix for me, know that that mixture is what is going to lead to kidney failure when you are 42. So keep your 50 million. And remember that even the transplanted kidney can fail again. So keep another extra 50 million. So that you do not become a body, because these things are simple. Not every fever is malaria.
Okay, Doc,
and when you go, just hold the thought a little, please, because it's a moment to educate also.
That's right.
When you go to do these things, right? Also know typhoid, everybody, doctor, I've stopped it long ago. Call me Dr. Joe, wicked man. I know I'm not wicked. I have more knowledge than you. I am helping you to live. That's why I no longer do phone prescription. Go and see your doctor. Now, when you go and say typhoid, 99% of Nigerians think it is a thing of pride, a status thing, to say, last week I was sick. I had malaria and typhoid. But let me tell you something. It's not common to have typhoid. For you to have typhoid, you have literally eaten feces, shit, udwang. Because typhoid is what we call a fecal-oral disease. Feces is getting to your mouth and into your system. It is not common, and I say this especially to the elites in the hall. You say it a lot. It is not common for somebody of Professor Edna's status to have typhoid because she understands hygiene, she lives well, and it's not common. So don't rush there. But can climate change cause disease? Typhoid is one of those diseases because when water bodies are contaminated, then that is actually a reason to have typhoid. You go to the other extreme where you have heat. I'm already sweating. When I'm sweating, I'm not just losing fluid. This fluid that is coming out as sweat is part of the entire internal milieu that make up my blood component. So I am getting dehydrated. As I am getting dehydrated, I am being exhausted. So you have mental exhaustion. And sir, I'll tell you something. When you work in an office that is fully air conditioned, do you understand how you are able to stay in that office till 10 p.m. working?
So it's difficult
and
to know
somebody
the time.
who is in another office where he's sweating, by 12 noon is already fully exhausted. It is the effect of climate change. And so when you're talking of mitigating factors, your air conditioners are actually mitigating factors for the changes in the climate. So when you have that exhaustion, it does not only physically exhaust you, it also mentally exhausts you. But you move away from that. Flooding can destroy farms and livelihoods. When flooding destroys farms and livelihood, crops fail. When crops fail, what do we have? Food insecurity. When we have food insecurity, what do we have? Absence of availability of food. And then you now have hunger and malnutrition. And then you have malnutrition, which leads further to stunting. And Akwa Ibom has a peculiar problem with stunting. This is on a lighter note. Camera kusionye. Because you need to we have a real huge problem with stunting. And so, when you add that traditional problem that has always existed from the time of Obong Victor Atta, even the military era up to today, then you now add with the dramatic effects of climate on nutrition and health, then you know if there is any place where we should be having this conversation, it is Akwa Ibom State. And I thank Her Excellency for curating this conversation. There is so much to talk about. The flooding would lead to displacement of families. When families are displaced, there is stress, there is mental problems, and all of this end at the hospitals. So it's a huge problem. It's no longer an environmental problem. It is now a public health emergency. And the time to act is now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Please, can we appreciate him very warmly? Students, are you also listening? All this concerns us. So I'll come to the SSA now. And she is the melting pot of this discussion because health, environment, safety, one person. But I'll take the safety angle because that's an angle that we don't often talk about. I know that climate change affects safety. So you lead us through there. How does this affect particularly domestic safety, fire incidents, the heat, and several other things? So you both tell us what it does and the solutions that can come from that, climate change and safety.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So the question is on climate change. How does it affect the safety of the people, the environment, and what are the solutions we can offer? Okay, first and foremost, climate change. I'll take it with different parts. You know, during the rainy season, during the dry season, and so you can understand better. So now during the rainy season, you know, when we have storms, severe winds, and all that, when the safety, domestic safety, that's safety at home. First of all, I hope you all understand that safety is everyone's responsibility. So it's just not government it's not just government alone. So at home, during the rainy season, to avoid all the flying debris and those flying things, roofing sheets from affecting us, it will be good from time to time to reinforce our roofing structures. You just go in there, renail, you check leaking roofs so that you can amend it, so that during the rainy season you don't have those structures flying and hurting people, like I said. And to avoid flooding, you have to maintain a clean environment. You have to ensure what is called proper waste management and disposal. You don't just throw your litters into the gutters, because it will block the waterways, and by so doing, it will affect us. So when there's rain, there will be flooding, and it will affect the water we drink, like the commissioner has said. It will affect the crops that we take into our bodies. So we have a major part to play in also reducing the effects of climate change on our health and our environment. So now for dry season, the other parts of rainy season, I don't know if I could take that. I could do a lecture here, but maybe you invite me for that one later, Your Excellency. So,
she will pay heavily for it, I can assure you.
You know. So for the dry season, we have things like fires. We have things that can cause fire. So it will be advised not to put, store chemicals, fuel products around generators or around things that can, ignite fire. That's fire safety. And avoid bush burning, because that again contributes to the heat of the environment. So we need to totally avoid that. And I've already said the proper waste disposal too, both in the rainy season and in the dry season, because you don't want waste, you don't want waste littered everywhere. And heat stress. Look, Dr. Tu has mentioned that. So we have to avoid heat stress by, wearing loose clothing, avoid black during the dry season, because black has a way of attracting sunlight and heat, so that you don't have heat stroke. And flooding. Okay, I mentioned flooding. And, our overall safety, it's just good to make sure that we make our environments clean.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else, right? What did you say again? So what are
I'm even trying to help you not to remember again because of time. And but you've said so much. You've said so much. And she talked about roofing. Even the POP that we use, it needs to be reinforced because that thing is thread. And many people don't check up on it. Sometimes that thing is just hanging and it can break off. Even the fans we use, many of them were installed 7-10 years ago. Nobody has gone to check. It can come down. So it means that with this increased heat, PVC, POP, we have to look and check those things very regularly. And we also have to use
durable materials.
And very durable
That's very
materials.
important as well. So while building, don't just use, because they are cheap, you just have to make sure they are durable, to overcome and to be able to withstand, to withstand this effect of climate change.
So, Ss, I'm happy you've not remembered more because we thank you for all the amazing points. And I hope that everybody is taking note of these points. This also helps you to remember, all of us in the building, we are now ambassadors. So the essence is that you are specially selected. You now take this message because it concerns all of us and continue to talk about it. Doctors mentioned water. We need hydration. I know outside of Nigeria, for every meeting, after 1 hour, there's tea break. In our climb, they will do crusade over 6 hours. No single water anywhere. People will stay in occasions for 6 hours. No water break, no provision. There's dehydration. That's why almost everybody is angry, sir. The heat stress is caused by climate change. Because of free TF of your how are you? I tell you what is good about the afternoon. The heat stress is caused by climate change. So I come to Dr. Toyo. ECUS is an NGO. And I know ECUS takes its activities to rural areas. And And for those who do not know, this NGO manages many of the HIV cases that we have in Akwa Ibom, hundreds of thousands of people that are in there. We are young, but go and know your status today. It's not a death sentence. But you know how to communicate these things. When it has to do with health, safety, I know your project ACE5, malaria should be there, HIV and the rest of them. So what is the best way for us to communicate this climate change? One, to young people, like these students that are here. And two, to people who stay in the different local government areas and the villages. What is the best strategy for us to take the message of climate change? Because what's going to climate change me? What language, what skill, what strategy can we use to pass this information?
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Your Excellency, for having us. I bring you greetings from our CEO, who was not able to make it here today. So, you know, when we talk about climate change, it seems very abstract. Some months ago, my wife was asking me that she's feeling hot a lot these days. Is it that she's now having, her menopause has started? Right? So I told her that it's not only her, it's everyone. And like we've said here, you would easily know that things are changing because the weather is changing. I don't know how many of us had Harmattan in December. And as we were discussing, I was just thinking about primary school, when they used to say we have 2 seasons in Nigeria. The profs will tell us now how many seasons we have and how long each season lasts. But I think that the most effective way to communicate concepts that are abstract is to bring it down to how it affects individuals. And we live in a society that if the thing doesn't affect them directly, we don't seem to pay attention to it. I said, my late dad used to say that unemployment is a statistics until you become unemployed. So how is climate change manifesting? 2 weeks ago, I was discussing with a colleague. You would notice in our hospitals that some illnesses that we used to think are for the elderly, like the Honorable Commissioner was saying, hypertension, chronic kidney disease. You now see them in younger people. And these are the manifestations of some of these concepts. What is climate change and how does it manifest?
Something just came to me. You know, because of maybe increased rainfall. In the morning, you see someone with a sachet of something, Google cleanser.
Google cleanser.
People take some of these substances in sachet. Even when you go to them, you see a woman very early in the morning with a small bitters something. Doctor is action. Action bitters. Sorry for mentioning the brand name, but these are the culprits. So, is it right? I will read that these things. Is it proper to take some of these substances, especially as early as 6 a.m., 7, 8 o'clock without breakfast? What does it do to the body? Does it enrich the body? Does it help with the heat, or does it destroy the body? But so I read this message back to the market. Sorry for
Okay, I'll defer some part of it to the Commissioner for Health. He's well qualified to discuss that. But I'll take on it as I'm moving ahead. So, you know, when we discuss climate change, what really causes climate change? You know, the way God designed the atmosphere, designed nature, everything was self-sufficient. You know, we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon carbon dioxide. The plants breathe in the carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. When the carbon dioxide becomes excess, the plants store it on the soil. And then the soil now serves as a reservoir of carbon dioxide. What does carbon dioxide do in the universe? It maintains heat. There is, if the environment is too cold, people cannot survive. If the environment is also too hot, people cannot survive. That's why when you watch the news, you'll be hearing some people that are trying to engineer life in Mars and other planets, because those planets are uninhabitable for human beings. So what has happened over time is that our activities, like the special advisor was saying, our activities has led to a massive increase in CO2 in the atmosphere, from generators to cars, exhaust, to things that we burn, all those things, right? So that has now raised the atmospheric temperature. By raising the atmospheric temperature, it has created some follow-on effects, one of which is flooding, like the Honorable Commissioner said. Although we don't have those parts in Nigeria, there are parts of the world where the whole area is just ice. Because the temperature has risen, the ice melts, and then the water seeps into the ocean and causes floods down the rail. So, as individuals, the best way we can communicate these things is to, one, relate it to how people live and make people see the alternatives. For example, it's difficult to tell someone who is struggling with a day-to-day living that he should not put on his generator when we know that power supply is not constant. But there are alternatives. The alternative is solar power, which is way cheaper on the long run. And I must thank His Excellency and the Honorable Commissioner for the transformation they are doing in our health ecosystem. All the health facilities that the governor is building or has built has been powered with solar. Amazing. So that has taken away possible CO2 emission. And for every 10 kVA solar that you put in a facility, you save the planet 10 kilograms of carbon dioxide. So you can multiply and see what the governor is doing. Another thing we can do is what Her Excellency is also pushing forward, and which is why we are here, and that is tree planting. Okay. The more agriculture we do, the more we create the platforms for the environment to absorb the CO2, and the better we can affect our climate in the future. Let me add one thing. Sometimes we don't understand how important these topics are. I also didn't used to understand climate change. I was just an individual there living. And climate change seemed to be like something that is for the Western world. If you turn on your TV, they're always talking about climate change. The Democrats come and they're in favor of climate change and EVs. The Republicans come and they say no climate change. Until I happened to work in the north for a part of my career. And we'll be passing through some streams. And if someone doesn't tell you that used to be a stream, you will never know. Because the place is normal land. And then the driver will be telling me, oh, this used to be a stream. Oh, the village used to use this place to do this. And it's, it looks like it's happening in the north. So but it will come down to us gradually.
Very fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we please appreciate the infuse of fine gentleman? And I hope that all of us are learning
including those who have money and are doing interlocking and everything in the compound. You know, you live in an estate, everywhere is cement, the road is tar, over 2 kilometers, no tree, and you think you are living a good life. Nothing is coming from a plant, because that's all what we are saying. You know, the oxygen comes from plants. There is no single plant inside your compound. And there is no plant in over 6 compounds to the north, south, east, and west. So what exactly are you breathing? What are you surviving on? That's the core of this message. We need to bring back life. We need to get small gardens close by. We need to plant flowers again. We need to bring the grasses back again. Don't scrape everything off because you want it to look polished, you want it to look like Los Angeles, and you want it to look like New York. Bring back Abak to Abak. Bring back Uyo to Uyo. Let the soils return. Let the plants return. Let the green, fresh energy get back. That is how we can mitigate this climate, because it doesn't look like a problem until it becomes a real problem. So it would just be one minute. Doctor, you practice the 1 minute. We'll take Prof. And we just do a general 1 minute and conclude this session. Because I know these people are inexhaustible. Prof, 1 minute. And the focus is, what should we do? Solutions.
Solution number 1. In terms of our food security, we have to go for early yielding varieties of crops, so that we time our activities. For example, like the tomato, pepper, and so on, within 3 months, they have already yielded fruits. And secondly, we need to look at those low strategies that we can take that will help us to increase agricultural productivity and production. We will also have to look at collaborations with or partnerships and linkages with NGOs and other organizations or developmental partners. Example, GIFA, that has brought us here today to create this awareness and strengthen the awareness. Because most of the things we ignore, they have now brought it to light, and then we can go back and practicalize. It may interest all of you to know that we don't even have windbreaks again in our houses. When the wind comes, it blows off our roofs. Why? Because there's no tree on your compound. And we had some trees that we plant in our compounds that will serve as windbreaks. Heavy winds, and apart from that, don't go for all these trees. If you want to plant any tree, plant an economic tree. Orange, mango, soursop, and so on. Don't watch In most of our compounds, we have flower beds and we decorate our flower beds. What do you use your flower beds to do? I use mine to plant water leaves. Ginger, garlic. You can plant them at the confines of your house.
That's right.
So it is not a rocket science. So what I want to implore each and every one of us is that when you go back and plant a tree so that you can have clean air in your compounds and you breathe that fresh air and become refreshed, just like GIFA has brought us today.
That's right.
Lane. So when you are going back, go and then try and plant those economic trees. Coconut, and yet coconut water, if you are stooling, that's the first thing people will rush. Salt and water solution, and you know coconut water. Dr. Ben Medway. So the market women, you know that if we have flood, it will displace the market women. They may not be able to sell. So we have to also keep our environment clean. Clean sanitation in our markets, places, and even where we sit. To sell excellency. So when you go back home, be intentional about planting at least 1, 2, 3 economic trees in your compound. And try to plant all the vegetables. those local vegetables that we need so that it will nourish our systems and then will also give us what in our system? What will it give us? What will it give us? Nourishment, mineral, vitamins. We need them. Even cucumbers can be planted at your backyard within 3 weeks. Lettuce matures in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You can even plant that as a flower, even to beautify your compounds, your kitchen, your parlor, and so on. Even mushrooms. So what are you waiting for? So the time is now. And I want each and every one of you to know that climate change is real, but we can manage within the confines of our families, of our immediate environment, to be sure that we live very well, comfortably well, and happy with ourselves. Thank you.
Very fantastic. And we please put our hands together for Professor Edna Augustine Akpan, Distinguished Professor of Crop Science. And I'm sure she goes around with some of these crops and those seeds. I'm sure she has some seeds. So see Prof for some of these things. Thank you very much, Prof. Doc, we're back to you. Solutions.
Okay, so just before I speak to the solution, let me address the issue you raised on the bitters. Our generation is embracing a culture that isn't ours. The wokeness that's in quotes, I don't know where we got that grammar from, but the wokeness that Instagram brings to us, I hope that we'll still have a generation to pass on to the next generation. Those things are not good for your health, and I'm not going to mince words. I have a duty as the Chief Health Officer of the state to provide that education. What my brother, Mr. Fimba, raised, and I know he deliberately threw that in. And I want to thank you for doing that. They're not good for our health. It destroys you as a young person, and even as an older person. We're battling a lot of non-communicable diseases. Alcohol indulgence, intoxication, it's a big problem. Our young people are becoming addicted to substances, not only the ones that they smoke or sniff, but also the ones that they drink. Since the advent of energy drinks, the number of renal failures all around has increased dramatically. And let me tell you why it is a particular concern.
Doc, what about Adam? They
all fall.
Are they the same?
They all fall in the same category. And what is amazing, what is a problem to me is that these people prescribe alcohol as treatment for illnesses. And you will see them, because there is social media availability, defending it with their full chest. When I was younger, I would come and defend. Now, there's a lot of work for me. I may not have all the time. That's why I'm taking this time to beg every one of us, please cease and desist. I don't understand why you take health advice from social media, but you do not take your car to tailors. You take them to mechanics. You do not take your car to carpenters. You take them to qualified mechanics. So I want to beg us. Now back to solutions. There are a lot we can do, and I heard the MC recognize my big sister, Honorable Kenny Monofiok. I've not seen her. I've been scouting for her. First, there's legislative action. We can begin to take some legislative action that takes into cognizance the need to mitigate the effects of climate change. It used to be a culture in Akwa Ibom that every road would have trees lined up.
Yeah.
We can legislate that as government policy. That it is now the duty of the Ministry of Works to build in tree planting alongside our roads into every new road design. There are ministries. Everything cannot be left for the governor. People in our various ministries and the legislative houses must take up some responsibility. Imagine every road in Akwa Ibom being legislated to have trees planted by. We would have solved 40 to 50% of the challenge. Number two, In building our homes, the moderator has already spoken about, incidentally, when I joined His Excellency to the World as the UNGA hunger in 2024, I had an encounter with Senator Asukwo. So myself and Suki were up, and we were looking over New York, and he just said, "My brother, do you know I hate this place?" And I turned, I said, "Why?" He said, "This is just a concrete jungle." And funnily, everybody is, "I want to go to New York." That just look around. You have 30-story building, 60-story high-rise, not a single tree.
No fresh air whatsoever.
And then I looked at it and I realized that he was right. So let's not transform our societies into concrete jungles. Number 3, when you take ill as a result of the effects of climate change, please seek a doctor. The long run of trying to cut corners by going to mix drugs, you will pay 20, 30 years later. Nature cannot be cheated. There are principles that God has given to us to follow. It cannot be cheated. When you go to chemist to mix drugs, you're going to a primary 4 dropout to mix drugs. I went to a pharmacy and I asked the person, I saw the person giving injection on the road, and she had these long braids up to her waist. So when she tried to draw the injection, she turns, the braid falls there, and she would use her glove hands to throw the... So from my car, I knew that she did not know the principles of why she was wearing gloves, because the gloves is to prevent contamination, and you are using the gloves to turn your braid. So I came down, and of course, with my small walking stick, she didn't know me, and I said, she just shouted all of that. So I said, okay, don't worry. Let me call director of pharmacy. We shut down this pharmacy. So it was then she realized I was the commissioner, and then they started running helter-skelter. And I asked her, what is your level of education? She said she was a nurse. I said, where did you train? She didn't understand. It turned out that this is a secondary school dropout. And she was given a drug called lignocaine. Please Google it. That lignocaine can kill within 3 minutes.
Try.
If it gets straight to your heart, it can cause a cardiac arrest. And in 3 minutes, you are gone. And I am telling you what I have witnessed. Somebody who injected it IV instead of IM. And within 2-3 minutes, the woman was gone. I'm not saying stories that I was told. One of my very first encounter upon graduation, and this came from somebody who should have otherwise been knowledgeable. So you imagine who does not know. And I asked her, what are you giving? She said, lignocaine. I said, do you know what it does? She said, it numbs pain. I said, what else? She couldn't say. And I said, do you know what it can cause? That before we give drugs, we don't just know what it does. We also know what problem it can cause, so that we have the antidote on ground. When you give and you see the manifestation, you quickly inject the antidote. And she didn't know. I kept on pressing. Then she said, it can kill. I said, good. How will it kill? He said, if you put it in the blood and it goes to the brain, it will just do fume and the person will die. True life story, my answer before God, I lie not. And I said, madam, what is fume? And the patient will die. So I don't know where we go to, but this is very important. Take your health seriously.
To avoid
now,
fume.
To avoid fume. And then, let's not also forget, for community prevention of flood outbreaks, there are emergency numbers. One of the problems we have in our society is cynicism. If you sit in this hall today and call the ambulance service, they are under duty to be here in less than 30 minutes. But anybody, well, they will arrest you if you don't have an emergency. But if you have an emergency and you call them now, especially in this UO metropolis, I can tell you in 10 minutes they'll be here. And there are people in this hall who have experienced that service. So if you have issues, call the emergency helplines. See, government is about putting systems in place. One legacy that nobody can take away from His Excellency Governor Moino is the Akwa Ibom State Emergency Medical Service and Ambulance System.
Doc, please give us that number again. We have our pastor's numbers for emergency, but give us this particular emergency. How many people have that emergency number in this hall?
Okay.
Monsignor Pubo Monsignor number
Okay. Yes, I'll leave the number with the MC. We'll announce it.
Okay, the MC will announce the number. Excellent.
But please, you should store that number and you call at any time. But you don't even have to wait for the MC to announce. If you Google Akwa Ibom State Emergency Medical Service and Ambulance System hotlines, the numbers will pop up immediately. So please don't be a cynic. My brother used the word yesterday. Do not be a cynic. These systems are there for you and they work. But let me tell you the bad side. You believe it and you don't believe it and you choose not to use it. It does not take away the fact that they are there. They've been provided with your taxes. They've been provided with allocation due Akwa Ibom. So if you choose to be a cynic, I'm a member of the other party. I'm not a member of this party, so I'm not going to use it. And I'm info. Ofoni, Iba. My job as a systems person is to put the system in place and walk away. That's why you see sometimes I get invitations from GIFA, I delegate someone. Not because it is about system. I want to also test my system. Sometimes I give people the number and say, call. One day I went to check and somebody complained about the insurance article. I said, but look at the number on this board. Call the number. And I stood there with my team. She called the number and somebody picked. And I said, Madam, but you see, you've been shouting in this hospital, but there is a number on the board. So if we are here, there's 9 meters giving flood alert. Save your Akisemsa's number. There are areas of flooding, call. And when there are flood-prone areas and somebody takes ill in an unusual manner, please visit the nearest health center or general hospital. It is free. I don't know why are people like this. Governor Moino has declared free maternal care. Our women are still going to TBA. They go there to pay for goats, give yams. But it is free in the hospital. No, when you now have the flood, do not put your legs, right? And use your bare foot to walk in muddy or flood waters. You're going to develop fungal infection, tinea corporis, what you call ringworms, and all of the related skin diseases. Do not drink from contaminated water. Teach our people not to drink from streams. Government, GIFA will go to communities, build boreholes, clean boreholes. People will cross the borehole, solar-powered borehole. People will carry their bucket, cross the borehole, and go to them. What is the problem? So, you see, these are the issues that we need to address. But we must have all of these conversations. And I'll implore Her Excellency that creates this sort of conversation that brings together all the policymakers. Invite all commissioners, invite all legislators, invite all local government chairmen, decision makers. Leave the students alone. Put all of us in one room. And let us have these conversations. And then, because these are people that can move the needle, it's okay to sensitize these people, but what of the other side of policymakers who have the capacity to move the needle? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc. Can we please appreciate Commissioner for Health? Did we learn something today? Was this a very excellent session? I hope we've taken the lessons. And this is the number to call for emergencies. 080. Are you there? 080. Amen. Write another 30. 000. The first one was 080. The next one is 000. The next one is 22. Then 322. 080 000 22322. Those are the emergency numbers to call. machine to wonam gusong accident gusong we been wo and on another department. So you come bed someone who needs to be rushed to the hospital and all of that. We go been a womb for isn't a mortuary. That one is not provided by the service. So I hope that all of us are learning climate change and all these things. Ku kebe yine return, ku confirm ku boge rufio, ku kebe mamma kong, ku kebe mempomi. Doctor, these things must be confirmed. Ku ya ito yine kekpa, ebo ku fio bo nekeba yang kebe I don't know mon. Kidney failure can happen to children. Either a room on against the 90s, either the same, either abanga. Our bodies are changing. So we'll take the last 1 minute summary, particularly the environment, blockage of drainages, and the rest of it, solutions to it.
Okay. On a lighter note, Her Excellency, please don't put me on the same panel with Honorable Commissioner. With the Honorable Commissioner, oh my goodness. That was even more than 1 minute. Please, I'm a person of very few words, but I like to make my point in those few words. Please. Okay. Safety. It is, okay, okay. Now, we just have to improve the safety culture in our communities. Okay, presently, as from my office, as the SSA to the Governor on Health, Safety and Environment, how we are promoting the safety culture right now, we are doing something for schools to fulfill the in the Arise agenda of the governor. So it's called Arise School Safety Initiative, where we go to schools, we catch them young, we teach them the basic safety and health and environment topics, and then we inaugurate a safety club around schools. We just started that, and yesterday we were at one school in Akau Fort, the community secondary school. So it's a way also of helping the government drive down and improve safety, let people know about safety. Okay, yes, you have the Ministry of Environment, you have the Ministry of Health, but there's no real awareness about safety in the public. So for things like this, we have to help create awareness to help people with domestic safety, fire safety, and all. So one of the things, again, we can do is to be, after we have prepared our roofs, we have preferred solutions on how we can take care of ourselves during rainy season or our environment during the rainy season or the dry season. We also have to be prepared for emergencies. How do we do that? Now we have to have fire extinguishers in our homes. We have to make sure, like I said earlier, we don't store chemical products or fuel products, combustible materials with a source of heat, because it can bring about fire. And even in the market, we have to drive safety down to make them know how our actions can cause fire. And how do we prevent that fire in the case of heat season? In dry season, we will teach you with programs like GIFA, with NGOs like GIFA and other government initiatives and programs. We'll train people on how to use the fire extinguishers, and even to educate you on the need to first have it and know how to use it. And in case of flooding, like I said, you maintain a good, proper waste management system. For schools or maybe industries, food industries, even oil companies, there's this thing they call waste segregation, where you use color-coded, waste bins to segregate your waste. You don't put all waste into one place. So that's topic for another day. But we just have to education. So through education, we will help to improve the safety culture in our communities. That's what I can say. So, and we just have to be prepared for any emergency. Even after we have reinforced our roofs and the structures, we've used durable materials to avoid debris flying in and out during the wind. We still have to be prepared. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SSA to the Governor on HSE, Mrs. Jane Edidion Ufort, the Lady Captain. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ikemimano John, Commissioner for Health Akwa Ibom State, Professor Edna Agostinakpan, Distinguished Professor of Crop Science, thank you very much, from the Akwa Ibom State University, and the ACUS. Thank you very much, Otoyo Toyo, for coming, the Chief of Party at ACUS ACE 5 project. And so, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, climate change is real, and the realities are real. We are living with them, and we are living in these modern realities. We do not need to wait for another COVID. We don't need to wait for another Ebola outbreak. We do not need to wait for another emergency. We do not need to wait for something big that will be impossible for us to control. Our daily choices, our daily actions can help us to mitigate the effect of what has already become a reality for all of us. So thank you very much for accepting to become ambassadors, our students, our traders, our farmers, our women, our leaders, for taking this message to the next level. And I'm sure that Her Excellency will be very pleased as we begin to see changes, as we begin to see positive reviews come through from this program. Thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you very much for giving us your kind audience, and good afternoon.
What am I looking for? Say my God, it don't mess me up. They giving me you, giving you me. Opposite key fell like just so. Opposite key fell me just me. My baby, you know say you got love for me. I do go. When I call your name, you shakara for me. No, man. I'm gonna be your, you gon' be my Julie. No, man. I'm gonna be your, you gon' be my Julie. Give me your heart, I no go run away. Show me your love, I no go use you play. Carry me, go me, I go follow away. Follow you. Okwamona, give my baby, me and you. Okwamona, give my baby. Opposite give and la just so. Opposite give and me just me. My baby, you know say you got love for me. I do go. When I call your name, shakara for me. No.
I'll lay you down like an edge controller. I wanna love you all over. Wanna be the gun to your soldier. Show you I'm loyal, Wanna hold you tight like a folder. You are the beauty, I'm the beholder. Be the range to your rover. Told ya, oh I am loyal. Oh baby, me a leweto. Clear me now, so don't be late. We belong together, no debate. Make we relate. Oh baby,
this a true life story. Yes.
Now so he see me for road one day. He can't follow me go, he can't follow me. He say sister, please wait. I wanna talk to you all again. I say tell me what do you want? Make it all be like say I do the front. He said it's only gonna take 1 second. He can't ask me stupid question.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, DJ. Please, just some pieces of information. Your Excellency, please, with your permission, the Honorable Commissioner for Health has asked that I inform all of us that the state government is currently undergoing the enumeration for free insecticide-treated nets distribution. It's also related to the issue of climate change, because when you do not have malaria, you do not take those drugs you shouldn't take, and our climate will be better protected. So the people are going around households in the state to take some details and give you a card which will qualify you to receive free insecticide-treated nets, courtesy His Excellency the Governor later on in the month. The Honorable Commissioner for Health has asked me to inform you that if they are yet to visit your residence, you can Google the Ministry of Health Public Complaints line now and submit your address and let the ministry know that they are yet to come to your residence. That's one. The second thing, he has asked me to remind all of us that His Excellency the Governor has made possible a Akwa Ibom State Health Insurance Scheme, which is free of charge for pregnant women, free of charge for children under 5 years, and of course free of charge for elderly citizens. While for those of us who do not fall under that category, you can just pay 18,000 naira per individual once a year, and you get treated absolutely free in our health centers and hospitals of your choice. One of the reasons why people cut corners in issues of health care is because perhaps the moment you take ill, you do not have money at the moment, and so you resort to a chemist in your area. With a Akwa Ibom Health Insurance Scheme, you can be sure that anytime you fall ill, you can get proper medical diagnosis and proper care, and then you avoid issues of complications, kidney-related issues, and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, please, may we all be seated. I can see some movements in the hall. Madam, please just pause on the distribution. Now, we want to invite the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady to address us. It is my pleasure now to please welcome the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of GIFA and coordinator of the Office of the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State, Noble Lady Helen Eno Obariki, for her remarks.
Thank you so much, everyone. I would dance, but I don't want to lose the momentum of such a powerful panel discussion. So please, before we're seated, if you're in this room and you know that you have learned one thing since you walked in here, can we please give ourselves a round of applause? If you know that you've learned something, if you haven't learned anything, don't clap. At least one thing, because I know that I've certainly learned a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Please, let's be seated. Due respects to the wife of the former military governor of Akwa Ibom State, Mrs. Fumi Idongisinkanga, I recognize the presence of the member representing Oron Anudonguko in the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Chief Kenny Monofiok, okay, there she is. It's good to have you here, ma'am. To all of the members of the State Executive Council, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, the Commissioner for Agriculture, the Commissioner for Health, who has just stepped away, Special Advisor on Cooperatives, Mrs. Alice Ekweyong. Thank you so much for being here. To all of the members of Lewa and Kusawa that are here, I recognize your presence. To the wife of the state chairman, APC, Mrs. Ini Louisa Antuyekpo. I know I saw her when I came in. To the state woman leader who has also excused herself. To the international director, Arise with Renewed Hope Initiative, Dr. Glory Edet, I recognize you. To the chairman of local government councils who have made it here, to, specifically Abak and Isidiket. I know I saw Ibino as well. To the president of Walgon and wife of the chairman, Uyo Local Government Council, Mrs. Akani Udo, and all of the other wives of chairmen, thank you so much for being here. To the team lead GIFA, who has worked very hard to put this together, yourself and your team, thank you so much. I recognize your presence. To the vice president of the NCWS, Obawa and Geraldine, who took our opening prayer, thank you so much. To the vice chairman of the local government councils that are here, I recognize you and I thank you for coming. To the panelists at this climate change mitigation event, I want to thank you so much. Prof, it's such a pleasure to see you after a long while. To the members of the Akwa Ibom State Agriculture and Food Security Committee, led by Prof. Okonansa, who has also excused himself. To the president of the Senatorial District Women's Forum, I recognize your presence, all female stakeholders that are here, officials of the UBOM-led, all the students that are here, all the teachers, all the market women, all the farmers, the press. Apparently, it's only market women that are in this room. To all of the gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is a delight to be here at this timely, enlightening, and action-oriented gathering. We're not here to listen to an abstract scientific seminar or a political debate. We're here today because climate change is no longer a distant problem for the future. If there's one recurring theme from all of our panelists, I think it was that. Climate change is now, it's real, it's here. It is a current reality happening right outside our doors, affecting our homes, affecting our pockets, and our survival. We see these environmental challenges squarely every single day. We feel the frustration of our rural farmers who look at the sky in confusion because the old, reliable planting calendar has completely shifted. The heavy burden on our households when unbearable heat waves, floods, and changing weather patterns cause our children to fall ill. This is precisely why, under the visionary Arise agenda of His Excellency the Governor, Pastor Omo Basieno, PhD, clap if you want to, I think he deserves it. Environmental sustainability and public health are not just policy statements, but fundamental pillars of governance. The state is heavily fortifying primary healthcare systems to withstand climate-induced health emergencies, ensuring our people get the care they need right at the grassroots, and also working aggressively to build roads, sanitize urban areas, and clear drainage systems in order to directly prevent devastating floods. The Patience Umoeno Golden Initiative for All, GIFA, has gathered individuals across the Uyo Federal Constituency today under the Improving Environmental Health thematic area to create awareness and promote sustainable environmental practices in our rural communities. GIFA's core mandate is to enhance family lives. However, we cannot fully achieve this if we do not equip individuals with the practical knowledge to survive and mitigate these environmental hazards and thrive. At GIFA, we do not believe in just talking about environmental health. We believe in deploying life-changing solutions, which again, the SSA to the Governor on Health, Safety and Environment has repeatedly mentioned, and I did not recognize you, my sister, the Special Assistant to the Governor on Safety, Environment, and Health. Thank you so much for being here and for all of your support. Thank you. At GIFA, like I said, we're not just talking about environmental health. We understand that climate change directly threatens water security, drying up local sources or contaminating them through heavy flooding and causing waterborne diseases. In direct response to these critical challenges, GIFA has aggressively rolled out our signature Water of Life facilities. These are state-of-the-art, solar-powered facilities currently functional in 13 local government areas of Akwa Ibom State, providing clean, safe, and easily accessible potable water to thousands of rural households. Driven by compassion for the grassroots, His Excellency has set a bold ongoing target to scale this initiative and build one Water of Life facility across all of the 369 wards in Akwa Ibom State. A very noble feat, if you ask me. By providing clean water at the ward level, we are directly combating waterborne diseases, reducing the domestic burden on our women and children, and building resilient communities that can withstand environmental shocks. True climate mitigation requires a grand coalition, and we are blessed in Akwa Ibom State to have extraordinary leadership across various sectors working hand in hand with us. The rich insights shared by our distinguished panelists today are proof of the incredible work their respective organizations are doing to safeguard our state. I'd like to take this time to appreciate everyone who sat on this stage today. the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Health, my big brother, Dr. Ekem Emmanuel, our brilliant academia, Professor Edna Akman from the Faculty of Agriculture, Akwa Ibom State University, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Health, Safety and Environment, my sister, Mrs. Jane Edidiong-Ufot, the Chief Executive Officer of the Excellent Community Education Welfare Scheme, ECUS, Dr. Andy Ayo, who was very well represented here by Dr. Toyo. And of course, saving the best for last, our moderator, like he said, I literally dragged him here, and thank you so much for honoring my invitation, the estimable Mr. Anyekeme Fimba. Thank you all for honoring us and for doing such a phenomenal job. You did not just give us complex textbook lectures, but you stripped away the big grammar to give us real low-cost grassroots solutions. We must now take the invaluable lessons from that panel session and put them into immediate practice. To the wives of the local government council chairmen in Uyo, Uruan, Nsidatai, and Ibesikwa Asutan, thank you for your incredible mobilization structure, the creative presentations, your leadership at the grassroots, and for ensuring that these beneficiaries were reached and brought here today. I extend my deep appreciation to the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Ofiong Ofor. Thank you so much for your support. The chairman and leadership of the Akwa Ibom State Agricultural Development Program, ACADEP. Your collaboration has indeed made this event a success. To the GIFA team members, to all of our volunteers, aides to the governor and staff of the Office of the First Lady, I thank you all for your dedication and your unwavering commitment. My hope is that our women take home the practical steps shared today to stop dumping plastics into the drainage systems and instead convert them into decorative flower vases, just like you had seen in the video that was shown earlier. Let our farmers implement climate-smart agricultural methods and resilient crop timelines to protect our yields and secure food for our dear state. To our vibrant students and youth, the challenge has been thrown to you to lead. Take the knowledge from this hall back to your schools, your villages, and communities across the Uyo Federal Constituency. Start environmental clubs, plastic recycling projects, and stop the indiscriminate burning of bushes and waste. As we prepare to leave, I want us to remember that the environment is a mirror. What we give to, it is exactly what it returns to us. Just like the spoken word said, I don't know if you heard the words in that spoken word. She spoke to us taking care of our environment so our environment can in turn take care of us. To kickstart the immediate practice of what we have learned, we have provided eco-friendly solar lamps and economic tree seedlings for our beneficiaries present in this hall. So everyone in these care packages that we have here, every bag has a solar-powered lamp, and so you do not need electricity. So that can help in your marketplaces. It can help students with reading at night if you do not have light at home. So now you have no excuse, because once you put this outside when the sun is out, it will charge it, and then it could run for a few hours, enable you to read and carry on your businesses. So by planting, and then we're also giving tree seedlings, thanks to ACADEP and the Ministry of Agriculture that have given these seedlings, and that is why it was important for them to speak to us about the benefit of what we're actually receiving here today. So if you take care of the plants, if you groom them, in 3 years, 4 years, we're talking to millionaires in this room already. So I hope that you do take it seriously and appreciate the gift that we're giving to you, courtesy again of the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Basieno. By planting these trees in your compounds and your farms, you are directly helping to purify the air, prevent devastating soil erosion, provide natural shade against harsh heat waves, and restore green to Akwa Ibom State. This is GIFA's promise translated into tangible grassroots empowerment. Let us stop fighting nature and start protecting it. Mitigating climate change does not require millions of naira. It begins with the simple, intentional adjustments in our daily lives that were highlighted in this room today. I challenge every single person here to leave this hall with a solemn commitment to practice at least one lesson learned to protect our environment. Let us transform this awareness into action in our immediate compounds and in our neighborhoods and communities. Together, we can build a safer, cleaner, and more prosperous Akwa Ibom for the generations yet to come. I wish you all safe travels back to your respective destination. I thank you all for coming, and I thank you for listening. God bless Akwa Ibom State, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady. The market women are ready, 10 of them, to receive their gifts from the Noble Lady Helen Eno Obariki. As she has stated, they will be receiving economic trees, eco-friendly solar lamps, and of course, some other fantastic items. Market women, 10 of them. After the market women, will be having the farmers, 10 of them also. And then we'll be having the students, 10 of them also. That means 30 households in Uyo Senatorial District are benefiting directly from GIFA's Climate Change Mitigation Initiative with the aim of improving environmental health in Akwa Ibom State and ultimately in our country, Nigeria. This is very laudable. This is a very lovely initiative, and we commend the chairman of the Board of Trustees of GIFA, herself, the Noble Lady Helen and Obariki, for reaching out directly Please, we'd like to emphasize that the trees are for planting. If you are not going to plant, please don't take them. But are the economic trees. Ebu mau beruka ka ke to ye ki tiesi fon kama ye ya fon. Kini swaita aya wamfat. Afok pakke bene kenyam. Ado a direct empowerment initiative. Governor Nyinena Masombo Maubo Kaketo Ido flower kedo Eben Neganam Ges Rubet To Yaki TSA you took Yaya. We'll just take photographs. Thank you. DJ, lower it a bit so we can hear. We'll be having the farmers next. Please, can the market women please return to their seats as we invite the farmers, one after the other, please. Hold on, the farmers. Okay, we'll just take photographs with some stakeholders before we have the farmers. Please, the stakeholders are very respectfully invited up here to join the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady for a photograph. Chairman of ABAC, could you please join this memorable moment? Thank you, the stakeholders. I believe everyone has been captured in the photograph. Okay, we'll just take one more please. Just one more, please. Thank you, stakeholders. Please, could you return to your seats as we will be inviting the farmers to also receive their goodie package. The farmers, please approach. The Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs and, of course, the Commissioner for Agriculture. Of course, the Dr. Gloria Edet, former Commissioner for Agriculture, will also do this presentation. Economic trees, eco-friendly solar-powered lamps, and other fantastic items courtesy the office of the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State. Mboyang mana nam ya adiongo. Ke to miedo sefo ke to nye ya amwamfat uno. Ke kama ye ya afon. To ye ki tie se yo to e yo tu go ye. We have a representative of people living with disabilities. She's also a farmer. She will receive also boy awo wama ye. After we'll be having the students, that will be the final cluster. Students, please come. The students, please come. Students, 10 of them also selected across different schools in Uyo Senatorial District, Uyo Federal Constituency, please. While that is ongoing, we once again applaud everyone who graced this occasion. I can see the Executive Chairman of Nsiribo, Deaconess Otto Aaron, herself the Chairman of the Forum of Female Local Government Chairmen of Akwa Ibom State. We acknowledge also the Chairman of Esreket, who also joined us in the course of this event, the members of Legislators' Wives Association. We thank all of you who were here. We thank also the members of Commissioners and Special Advisors' Wives Association, Kosawa. Of course, we thank also the representative of the Chairman of Ibesikwa Sultan Local Government Area, Mr. Emmanuel Useni, himself the Director of Education, Ibesikwa Sultan Local Government Area. Not forgetting the panelists, and of course the moderator of that panel, Mr. Nyekeme Finba. It was a very enlightening session there. I know we all learned a thing or two. As we continue protecting our environment, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind us that it is important to dispose your refuse properly. That's also part of environmental protection strategies. The state government has made some dumpsters available across the metropolis and other parts of the state. I'd like to also remind us that according to environmental laws of Akwa Ibom State, you are only permitted to dispose your refuse at those refuse collection points between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. each day. We'll just take a photograph. After this, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take the national anthem to close. We've come to the end of this event. And here it is, Uyo Federal Constituency's GIFA Climate Change Mitigation Initiative has successfully been concluded. Let the students remain where they are, please. The students remain where you are for the anthem. Please, may we rise for the national anthem as we bring this event to a close. Remain where you are for the anthem. The national anthem, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, do have a wonderful afternoon.
Please, all the beneficiaries, just sit down. Your gifts, your items are here. So just sit down. Sit down. Just sit down. The ones you've just witnessed is symbolic presentation. So we have your items outside. You have been accredited, so we'll use the list to give you what belongs to you. So if you're a beneficiary, just sit down, including the people that have received as a